And we are live. It is Video Tips with Vanessa. Today is Tip Tuesday, and it's all things video. It is all things live, and I missed you guys. I mean, I saw some of you guys yesterday at Girls on Fire at Supper Southern Morsels in Norfolk, but I did miss you. It's been a wonderful weekend with my little snuggle bunnies, but today we're going to get right into it. Today is all things video, all things live, and all things backdrops. Woo! All things backdrops. So I'm going to check on Facebook right now and make sure I'm seeing who is watching. And while I'm doing that, Lori Knutson out of North Carolina, she got to me, and my phone is being a little pain. There it is. Lori Knutson got to me. Not got to me, she got to my heart. Yes, she got to my heart. But we were talking on a call, and she said, "Oh, Vanessa." Now, of course, I'm being over dramatic. "Oh, Vanessa, my room is always a mess." And let me get you. Lori, my room is always a mess. If everyone could see me and we didn't have the green screen right now, not to mention all the cameras, I've got wires running across the room. I've got earbuds. I've got paper. And oh my goodness, it's just a disaster. But what does backgrounds do? Well, they set the stage, right? They set up our shot. They imply where we are, but it also gives a little bit of an illusion. Ooh, and there are free, yes, free and almost free ways to do that. So Lori, we're gonna help you out. You called me out last week. You were like, "I need your help," and so we are going to help you today. Hey, Lori, I see you, lots of hearts. Love you right back, girl. So what do we do? What do we do when our house, like my house, is a complete disaster? Complete and utter disaster. What do we do? Well, there's lots of things. Number one, I'm going to tell you to carve out a space. We all have it. Laura, you did great. You went live in front of your desk, and I know you, Lori, were so worried about all the things that people were seeing, but here's the thing. Remember what we said a few weeks ago? People are more focused on your actions, on your movements, then they focus on your intonation, then they focus on your words last. Backgrounds don't even hit the radar. They don't even hit the radar. Now, does it help? Does it imply, does it give the illusion of where you are? Of course. But the background is the least of your worries. So the number one thing I'm going to tell you is don't worry about it, because, and I told you something else, but the number one thing I'm going to tell you about is don't worry about it. Because if you worry so much about what the background looks like and what the background has to be perfect, then you'll never do video, then you'll never go live, and well, then you'll never have content, right? So the first thing is just to do it. Now, that goes into my second point. My second point was carve out a little space. Carve out a space in your house where you're going to try to maintain it. That way, when you have something on the fly that you want to talk about, you can just sit down and hop on. You can go live, press the red button, hit the record button. You can do all of those things. Now, I hear you. I hear all of you lovely people that are watching. You're thinking, but I just can't. I mean, I drink my morning coffee several times a day, and that's me. Lori, I hear you. Several times a day, that's me, my coffee cup, and then I've got my Monster drink. Ooh, I know I'm not supposed to do not the healthiest thing. My Monster drink, I mean, I've got all these things on my desk. I just can't keep it organized. Okay, I hear you. If we can't carve out a small space, then what we're going to do is we're going to make sure to clean it once. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shoot all of the videos that we need for 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks in a row. 8 videos. And we're going to carve out an hour and shoot them all at once. And remember we talked about last week, we talked about that premiere feature. We shoot it once and then we air it down the road. So go ahead and clean your space just one time, and then get all of your thoughts together, get everything that you want to talk about, get yourself prepped, get yourself prepared, and then record all of them at one time. It alleviates so much stress when you know that you can record them all at once and then you can broadcast them later. So it's going to alleviate a lot of that anxiety, right? I also want you to be mindful of is that when you're doing something like I'm doing, even though, you know, like we just changed backgrounds, even though I have 2 cameras, I'm basically doing what we call a talking headpiece. Now look at the physical space around me. There is much more space around me than when we had the other camera angle, and often when you're doing a talking headpiece, you're going to put the camera fairly close to your face. And when you do that, and we're going to switch cameras so you can see the difference, you have control of how much people see, like physically see around you. And if you don't want them to see a whole bunch around you, then you're going to put your camera either closer or farther away, depending on how much space and how much things that you want people physically to see, right? And that's going to be the determining factor. So if we put our camera fairly close, well, then we don't need a whole bunch of things around us in our background, right? Exactly. So we can make the illusion. Again, a background is just that. It's an illusion. I mean, it's really not real because you have no idea what my house looks like, right? It's all an illusion. It's no different than a theater set. How many of you have seen the background behind the set? Because the set looks beautiful, right? You can see 1, 2, maybe 3 walls. You can see the doors. But what you don't see is all the mess on the other side. And I grew up in the theater. Let me tell you, there are wood boards, there are nails, there is a stretched canvas all over the place. There are people's clothes everywhere as they're changing from scene to scene. It's a disaster. But again, it's the illusion of what's there. So my biggest tip is carve out the space. You know, first step is just do it. Just go live. Doesn't matter what it looks like. Second one is carve out your space. If you can't carve out your space, you know, and keep it clean most of the time, carve it out once and then shoot all your videos, right? All at one time and do the work once and then do what we did last week, which is air it as a premiere. Air it as a news release. So don't worry about having to go actually physically live. Don't worry about having to keep your space clean. Now that we've talked about my optimal situations, the optimal scenarios that I would have you do, let's talk about the other things. Okay, so now you're telling me I want to actually invest in a backdrop. I want to do what you do. I want to do either a green screen or I want to have a pretty backdrop or something. So here's the number one thing. Did you know that you have it right in your house? You do. You have a bed sheet, and we talked about that. Bed sheets are fantastic because they reflect light, especially in dim rooms. They reflect light. And then all we need is once you have that bed sheet, make sure it's fairly wrinkle-free, and then you're just going to get a stand off Amazon or clip it to a bookshelf or what have you. Make sure it's draped nice and straight, and there you have a natural backdrop that you already have. If you have kids like I do, they do science fair projects. Those 3-sided poster boards are fantastic as a backdrop. And you can get creative on Pinterest and you can add if you want your logo on it and be super creative. I'm not that crafty. I mean, I'm crafty in the sense of video editing, but I'm not crafty when it comes to that Pinterest thingy. So, but God bless you if you are. So you can do that on poster board. You can do that on cardboard. You can use cardboard and be creative and think about all the things you can do on Pinterest. Now, here's a unique one. We all have windows, right? And we all have well, not all of us, but most of us have windows. Some of us have curtain rods. I do not. I haven't gotten that far since we moved into the house. But if you had a curtain rod, you can also use the drapes as a backdrop. You can also create the space. I saw this online. I'm going to give credit to someone I saw on YouTube. They actually used a blank wall. They hung a curtain rod, and then they hung either a bed sheet or a sheet, or they went off Amazon and they got paper and they hung different colors of paper, and now they've got a blank wall that they've created the illusion that it is their space. And you can do anything you want on that blank wall. You can go live in front of the blank wall, but again, we want to think about a backdrop. We want to think about how to create the illusion of a space that is yours. And we can hang artwork on that blank wall. Again, we can hang a curtain rod on that blank wall, and we can hang paper on that blank wall. So there's so many things, but it's just an illusion. And it's an illusion that is, again, behind you. It's not the focus. We have to take our head out of that. That background is not the focus. If it's so loud that we're focusing on the background, then that's a distraction. And we don't want the distraction because what did we say? We have 3 seconds, sometimes 8 seconds to grab someone's attention. And if someone is so focused on that backdrop, you've lost them. Because again, they're going to listen to your words last, they're going to look at your mannerisms, and they're going to listen to your intonation first. So we don't want them to focus on the background. The background should kind of blend seamlessly, but just set up the shot, set up where you are. So there are lots of creative ways. Bed sheets, you can get backdrops off Amazon for $20. You can get backdrop holders for $30. You can do things like stand in front of your drapes. You can stand in front of blank walls. You can put artwork on that blank wall. We can do so many things and be creative in our house. We just have to think of our house as spaces, and how again we can create the illusion. Now, one of my favorite spaces is, say that my house is truly a mess, and say that I just wanted to change things up completely. You know where I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go outside. Mother Nature, let me tell you, she's got it covered. Hey, Anton Gray, how's it going? I'm gonna check out what you guys are all talking about right now. Hey, Neil, how's it going? Mother Nature, let me tell you, she has it banging, man. All the greenery, all the wintry colors, it's a fantastic change of scenery, and you've got it right outside. Whether you're on location having a talk with a business professional, or you right outside your backyard, your front yard, it's just a great change of space. And then what you get to play with, like we talked about in previous weeks, you get to play with lighting. Whether you shoot in the morning, whether you shoot at the golden hour when everything's kind of sunny but still got that golden little color to it. There are so many possibilities. So don't think, I've just got to go to Amazon. Not that I don't love Amazon, because let me tell you, in my household, everything comes in pretty regularly. But what I want to tell you is how to use what you have, how to utilize what you have. And again, think about carving out a space in your house that literally doesn't have to be more than a little bit outside of your head, right? Because if you're doing this talking head piece, look at how much space there is. There's not much. If I outstretched my arm, it goes out of frame. So that's only about a foot on either side of me. So the space you physically need for a background is very, very, very minimal. And all it's used is to set up your shot. That's it. Just to set a mood, to set a location, because we don't want to focus on it. We want to focus on you. We want to focus on your mannerisms, your intonation, your words, and then the background should sort of fade, well, into the background. Again, it is an illusion. So what are my tips? Carve out that space. If you can't carve out that space, carve it out every once in a while and then shoot all of your videos at one time. Between new release and premiere, you can re-air anything that you want live, so you don't have any issues with that. If you truly want to invest in a backdrop, think about blank walls, think about you can have bed sheets. Think about, room dividers. You've all seen them, those 3- and 4-sided room dividers. You can put them in between you and behind you, so that when you're doing your Zoom calls, you have something pretty. Look at this one. I'm gonna move to the side real quick. My husband found this on Amazon, and I'm gonna have to order it. It's a room divider that actually has panels, so you can put books, you can put coffee mugs, anything you want, picture frames, you name it. And again, you just break it down and then you move it when you don't need it. So there are so many options you can invest in, but you've got the best investments right in your house. You've got walls, you've got drapes, you've got bed sheets. Some of you have room dividers already, and then you have Mother Nature. Mother Nature is one of the greatest gifts that we have because it's just a great change of scenery. So don't think you have to order everything. You can, but think about how you can use things that you already have at home. Again, this has been Tip Tuesday, all things video, all things live. And don't forget to check out my previous video talking about the premiere feature. Because if you're gonna clean up your space, Lori, for just a little bit, you're gonna shoot all your videos at one time and you're going to re-air them live for consecutive weeks. Bada bing, bada boom, you're all done, and then you get to repurpose at your leisure. Again, I'm Vanessa Lane. It's been Video Tips with Vanessa. This has been an amazing Tip Tuesday, all things video, all things live. Thank you so much for everyone that showed up last night to Girls on Fire in Norfolk at Supper Southern Morsels. What do you want to hear about next week? What's troubling you? Is it live? Is it video? Is it lighting? Is it sound? Is it what to talk about? I want you to let me know what you're having issues with, and that's what we're going to talk about. And now, for those of you that are still watching, and thank you so much. Hey, Craig, how's it going? I hope you're having a great day. For those of you that are still watching and who have signed up for the Girls on Fire newsletter, Here it is. I'm going to drop the question of the day. The first one to respond gets a 30-minute session discovery call with me, and you can pick one thing that you need help with. So in that newsletter, I talked about the importance of your first frame. The first frame of your video is highly important, especially on LinkedIn. Message me, and if you're the first one to message me, you're going to get a private 30-minute call with me, discovery call, and I'll walk you through one video tip that you need help with. Again, why is the first, yes, the first frame, the most important frame of your video, especially on LinkedIn? There's lots of great things coming up. Girls on Fire Richmond happens next week. Please make sure to grab your ticket, and don't forget this Thursday we're going to talk about all things sex, and all things video. And then we've got one powerhouse of a guy, yes, one powerhouse of a guy showing up for Fire Day this Friday. Don't want to miss this. Make sure to check out our posts and our stories, and I will see you, somebody else will see you tomorrow for Wealth Wednesday. Have a great day.